It's really amazing how Google seems to just, read our minds, right? You type in a question and boom, there's your answer.
It's like magic, but it's not magic at all, is it?
Nope. We're going deep, deep, deep into how Google does it today. And trust me, whether you eat, sleep, and breathe tech or are just, a little bit curious about how search actually works, there's definitely something in here for you.
Absolutely.
It all boils down to three main types of data: structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data.
And understanding how these different data types work is like having a, I don't know, like a secret decoder ring for the entire internet.
Oh, I like that.
You'll start to see those search results in a whole new light.
All right, so let's start with structured data. Imagine, if you will, a perfectly organized library, right? Every book has its place, it's clearly labeled, it's categorized, it's just perfect.
Yes, that's a great way to think about it. It's all about making information easily, well, digestible for machines.
Okay.
So think about Wikidata. I don't know if you've heard of Wikidata, but it's this massive, huge database with tons of facts about, pretty much everything.
It's like the ultimate encyclopedia.
Yeah, exactly. And let's take Albert Einstein, for example.
Right.
Wikidata has all these different facts laid out in a really easy way for computers to understand.
Mm.
His birth date, profession, nationality, and tons more.
So it's not just the information itself, but how it's organized that matters.
Right. And this organization, this structure is called schema.
Schema. Okay, so that sounds a little, technical.
Yeah. Think of it like a blueprint. It tells Google, hey, this is a date, or this is a person's name, which is how Google can instantly pull up those knowledge panels with those, key facts when you search for someone or something.
So that's the secret behind those knowledge panels. It's like having like a mini bio right there in the search results. But what about, those rich snippets too, like those little boxes with extra details, like, ratings for products or whatever.
Yeah.
That's structured data too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're looking for, let's say, a recipe, those rich snippets might show you, star ratings, cooking times, even little photos of the finished dish.
Oh, that's so helpful.
Yeah. It's all thanks to that structured data, working behind the scenes.
Okay, I'm starting to see how structured data really brings order to the chaos of the internet, right? But what about semi-structured data? Is that kind of like, a library with some books neatly shelved and then others just piled on the floor?
Yes, I love that analogy. That's a great way to think about it. So think of, Wikipedia. It's got those structured elements like those info boxes with key facts and categories to, organize articles.
Right.
But then they've got all that free-flowing text within the articles themselves.
So it's like a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
Offering both like quick facts, but also the chance to really dive deep into a topic.
Exactly.
That makes sense. But then what about the cases where there's just, no structure at all?
Yes.
That's where unstructured data comes in, right?
Exactly, yeah. Unstructured data. That is like that giant messy room where you just toss everything in without any real organization. It's the vast majority of the information that we have online. We're talking text, images, videos, you name it. And it's a real head scratcher for machines to try to figure out.
So we're talking like blog articles, social media posts, even those funny cat videos on YouTube.
Oh, all of that and more. I mean, think about podcasts like this one. I mean, without some clever tricks, Google has no way of really knowing what we're actually saying here.
So how does Google even begin to make sense of this massive, huge jumble of unstructured data? I mean, it seems like an impossible task.
Yeah. That's where Google's secret weapons come in. Natural language processing, which we call NLP for short, machine learning, and BERT.
Ooh, NLP, machine learning, BERT. These all sound very, very fancy.
Yeah. Well, they are pretty sophisticated. Let's start with NLP. Essentially, it's Google's way of reading and understanding human language.
Oh, wow. So when I type in a question like, how does an electric car work? Google is using NLP to dissect that sentence and figure out what I'm actually asking.
Right. NLP helps Google identify those key concepts and relationships between the words. It's going beyond just matching keywords.
Okay.
It's really understanding the meaning.
That's super impressive. But then what about those times when, you search for something really specific and Google just seems to know exactly what you're looking for, even if you don't phrase it perfectly? I mean, how does that happen?
Yeah, that's where machine learning comes in.
Yeah.
So Google's algorithms, they're constantly learning from this vast, huge amount of data that they process. Let's say you're searching for information on, preparing for a job interview. Machine learning helps Google recognize that tons of people, before you have searched for similar things.
So it's like Google is learning from experience and getting better at anticipating what we need.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that brings us to BERT, which stands for, and get ready for this one, bidirectional encoder representations from transformers.
Oh my goodness. That's a mouthful.
I know, I know. BERT.
So what does BERT actually do?
BERT helps Google to understand the context of your search.
Oh, context.
So, for example, if you search for best apple pie recipe without cinnamon, without BERT, you know, Google might just focus on apple pie recipe and totally miss the, crucial part about without cinnamon. But BERT understands that without cinnamon is a key modifier.
Oh, it's a deal breaker.
Yes. And it will
Ugh.
prioritize recipes that specifically meet that criteria.
So BERT is like the ultimate, language detective. It's sniffing out the subtle nuances in our searches.
Precisely. It's a game changer for understanding these complex queries. And it's all thanks to Google's, clever use of both structured and unstructured data.
So they work together. It's not like, one is better than the other.
Yeah, no, they're two sides of the same coin.
Oh.
So structured data gives you those quick, factual answers, while unstructured data provides that richer, context and details.
Oh, okay.
So let's go back to our friend Albert Einstein. We saw how Google uses structured data from Wikidata for that knowledge panel with, the quick facts. But if you want to learn more about, Einstein's life and his work, then Google pulls up those Wikipedia articles, which are, jam-packed with unstructured data.
So it's like getting a glimpse of the forest through structured data.
Yeah.
And then exploring the individual trees through unstructured data.
I love it. That's a beautiful way to put it.
I'm sure some of our listeners are thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but like, how does it actually affect me? Especially if I'm, trying to get my website noticed or trying to get more visibility online.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now that we kind of understand, how Google makes sense of all of this data, let's see how you can actually use this knowledge, to your advantage.
Okay.
Especially if you're interested in SEO, which is all about, making your website more visible in those search results.
So if I have a website with, let's say, recipes, for example,
Yeah.
using structured data would help Google understand those recipes better and potentially, show them as rich snippets with those eye-catching images.
Exactly. And it's not just recipes, it's any type of content you can imagine, really.
Wow.
By organizing your content using schema markup, you're basically speaking Google's language.
Schema markup, is that like writing code or something?
It's a bit of code, but don't worry, there are tons of tools and resources out there that make it, super easy.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say you have, I don't know, a website for your bakery, right? And you want to make sure your opening hours show up correctly in the search results. You can use schema markup to tell Google exactly, what time you're open each day. It's like giving Google a clear set of instructions.
So instead of trying to, outsmart Google, it's more about, understanding how it thinks and working with it.
Exactly.
To make your content shine.
That's the key. And that's exactly what structured data allows you to do.
So we've talked about, how structured data is like speaking Google's language, but I have to admit, I still find it pretty mind-blowing that these algorithms can, understand us so well. It wasn't that long ago that we were searching the internet with just, a handful of keywords.
Yeah, it's true. Google has come a long way from those, early days. Back then, those algorithms were much simpler, relying mainly on matching keywords and counting backlinks to figure out which websites were, the most relevant. But as the web, grew and people started searching for more complex things, well, Google had to kind of up its game.
So that's where all this talk about, NLP, machine learning, and BERT, comes in. It's like Google went back to school and got a PhD in understanding human language.
That's a great analogy. They realized that, to deliver those, truly relevant search results, they needed to go beyond just matching keywords. They had to understand the intent behind our searches.
The intent.
The nuances of language and the context in which that information was presented.
I'm really curious about this idea of, search intent. Can you give us an example of how that works in practice?
Absolutely. So let's say, you search for apple pie.
Okay, apple pie. Everybody loves apple pie.
Right. Well, Google needs to figure out, what you're actually looking for. Do you want a recipe? Are you looking for the history of apple pie?
Yeah.
Pictures. Or maybe you're looking for, a bakery nearby that actually sells apple pie.
All very valid possibilities.
Exactly. By analyzing your search history, your location, other factors, Google can kind of make, an educated guess about your intent and then deliver those most relevant results.
So it's not just about the words themselves, but all these other signals that Google is picking up on. It's like a detective, piecing together clues to solve a mystery.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's not a static process either. Google's algorithms are constantly learning and adapting based on the data that they collect.
That makes me wonder what the future holds for search. I mean, if Google can already, kind of anticipate our needs and deliver such, personalized results, what's next? I mean, will it be able to read our minds?
Well, mind reading might still be a bit far off, but we're already seeing some, pretty amazing advancements. Think about voice search, for instance. I mean, it's become so natural to just ask our devices questions and get those instant answers.
I know. I use voice search all the time, especially when I'm like cooking and my hands are messy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And as AI technology continues to evolve, we can expect, even more intuitive and personalized, search experiences.
Hmm.
Imagine being able to search with images or videos or even, have a conversation with your search engine to kind of, narrow down your results.
That sounds both exciting and a little bit, scary. I mean, it's like something out of a science fiction movie.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that all of this is powered by data, our searches, our clicks, our online behavior. It all kind of feeds into those algorithms and shapes the information that we see.
So in a way, we're all kind of shaping the future of search with our actions.
Exactly, which is why it's so important to be mindful of our digital footprint and to think critically about the information that we consume online.
That's a great point. But I think it's easy to, to feel overwhelmed by all this talk about data and algorithms. What are some, practical things we can do to navigate this, data-driven world in a way that feels empowering rather than, intimidating?
Well, one of the most important things is to become more data literate. It's not just about, understanding the technical side of things, but about developing, critical thinking skills and a healthy skepticism towards, the information that we encounter online.
So it's about being able to, evaluate information and make informed decisions rather than just, blindly accepting whatever we see, online.
Absolutely. It's about asking questions like, who created this content? What is their agenda? What evidence do they have, to support their claims?
It's like being a detective all over again.
That's a great way to think about it. And it's also about being aware of our own biases. We all have them, whether we realize it or not. And it's important to recognize how our own experiences and beliefs might shape how we interpret information.
So it's not just about, questioning the information itself, but also questioning our own, reactions to it.
Precisely. It's about engaging in a constant dialogue with the information that we encounter, both internal and external,
Hmm.
and being open to changing our minds when presented with new evidence.
This idea of data literacy really resonates with me. I think it seems like it's becoming just as important as, traditional literacy in today's world. We need to be able to read, write, and understand data just as fluently as we do with language.
I could agree more. I mean, data is everywhere, and
Uh,
it's influencing our lives in countless ways. And the more we understand about it, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this complex world and make informed decisions.
it's like having a superpower.
That's a great way to put it. It's about becoming empowered citizens in a data-driven world.
it sounds like data literacy is something that everyone can benefit from, no matter their background or technical expertise.
Absolutely. It's a lifelong journey of learning and discovery.
I think one of the things that's really struck me in this deep dive is just how much we rely on, Google and other search engines to make sense of the world around us.
Yeah.
It's like they've become an extension of our own minds.
Yeah, it's true. We've become so accustomed to having, the world's information at our fingertips
Right.
that it's easy to kind of forget just how much we rely on these search engines to filter and organize it all, for us.
It's like they're curating our reality in a way,
Hmm.
which makes me wonder how much control we actually have over the information that we see. It's a little bit unsettling to think that these algorithms might be shaping our perceptions without us even realizing it.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's why it's so important to be aware of, how these algorithms work and the potential biases that they might, introduce.
Right.
It's not about being, paranoid or anything, but just about being, informed and discerning consumers of information.
So how can we, become more discerning in this data-driven world? I mean, are there any practical steps we can take to make sure we're not just being fed what the algorithms, think we want to see?
Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is to diversify your sources of information.
Oh, okay.
Don't just rely on your social media feeds or the top search results, right? Seek out those alternative viewpoints, explore different media platforms, and make a conscious effort to engage with, perspectives that challenge your own, assumptions.
So it's like cross training for your brain.
Yeah.
Instead of getting stuck in an echo chamber, you're exposing yourself to a wider range of ideas and perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to question the information that you encounter.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, who created this content?
Yeah.
What is their, motivation? What evidence do they present to support their, claims?
It's like being a detective again, right?
Right.
Always looking for clues and evaluating the credibility of sources.
Precisely. And remember, we all have our own biases too.
Yeah.
It's important to be aware of how our own experiences and beliefs might color our, interpretation of information.
So it's not just about, questioning the information itself, but also questioning our own, reactions to it. Like
Mm.
why do I find this article so convincing? Is it because it aligns with my existing beliefs, or is it because it's, presenting compelling evidence?
Yeah, those are excellent questions to ask yourself. It's about cultivating a healthy, skepticism and engaging in a constant, internal dialogue with the information that you encounter.
This all ties back to what we were talking about earlier. Data literacy. It's not just a technical skill. It's a way of thinking critically and navigating the world with a more, discerning eye.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Data literacy is about so much more than just, understanding algorithms and spreadsheets.
Right.
It's about empowering yourself to make those informed decisions,
Mm.
to separate fact from fiction,
Mm.
and to use data to make positive change in the world.
It's almost like a superpower, wouldn't you say?
I love that analogy.
The ability to decode the world around us and understand how data is shaping our lives.
Yeah, it's about becoming an active participant in the data revolution rather
Yeah.
than just a passive bystander.
Well, I have to say this deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening for me. I feel like I've gained a whole new appreciation for the power of data and the importance of data literacy in today's world.
Well, it's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. And remember, the world of data is vast and constantly evolving. Stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to ask those questions.
And to our listeners out there, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive as much as we have. We'd love to hear your thoughts and questions. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.